All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you live in Burien, Washington, or, anywhere in the surrounding South King County area, you might think you just have to worry about the occasional rainy day. But actually, the Puget Sound marine climate is secretly waging an invisible war on your home's comfort systems. We're talking about a totally unique microclimate here, and it's literally putting your heating and cooling equipment on the absolute front lines.
And just look at this, the immediate stakes are extreme. An HVAC system sitting further inland? Yeah, that might comfortably give you 15 to 20 years of life. But here on the coast, the salt and moisture mean the aluminum coil fins on your outdoor unit can just corrode and fail in 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years! It's a massive difference, and honestly, it catches so many homeowners completely off guard, leading to some really sudden, expensive emergencies.
So, Section 1, the invisible enemy. Let's understand the Burien marine climate.
To understand why this equipment breakdown happens so fast, we need to look at how marine air forcefully collides with inland weather patterns. This collision forces your system to run constantly. You've got these surprise summer heat waves that suddenly spike indoor temperatures. Then, winter hits, bringing this prolonged, damp cold that just feels like it penetrates right through your walls, totally straining the furnace. But the real silent killers here? Moisture and salt. That salt air blowing in off the Puget Sound literally eats through metal. It causes what's called galvanic corrosion, where the salt acts as an electrolyte and rapidly breaks down the dissimilar metals in your outdoor condenser units and refrigerant lines. And on top of that, Burien's dense, clay-heavy soil is like a giant sponge. It traps moisture right under your house, creating crawl-space humidity that breeds mold in your ductwork during the spring and fall. Your poor system is just constantly battling these elements.
Moving right along to Section 2, Neighborhood Challenges. Is your specific house at risk? What's really fascinating here is that this weather threat doesn't just attack every house equally. Because of local building codes and historical construction dates, a one-size-fits-all approach is guaranteed to fail. For instance, if you're up in Gregory Heights in a mid-century home, you're likely battling hilltop wind exposure and original ductwork that is entirely undersized for modern, high-efficiency equipment. Meanwhile, over in Boulevard Park, those classic split-level homes constantly struggle with temperature balance. You know the drill. It's freezing downstairs and an absolute sauna upstairs. Down at 3 Tree Point, you are right in the splash zone for extreme salt air corrosion. And in the post-war bungalows of White Center, trying to install a new furnace usually means you need significant ductwork modifications just to get the air flowing right. Knowing your own neighborhood's profile is basically half the battle.
All right, Section 3, the heuristics. Smart repair versus replacement rules.
Now that we know what we're up against, let's equip you with some simple frameworks so you aren't just guessing during an HVAC emergency. Rely on the $5,000 rule. It works like this. Multiply the age of your unit by the repair cost. If the result exceeds $5,000, replacement makes way more financial sense. So, for example, if you have a 15-year-old furnace facing a $400 repair, well, 15 times 400 equals $6,000. That tells you objectively it's time to replace the unit. It's a fantastic, practical, mathematical formula that takes the emotion out of a really stressful breakdown. When your system dies in the middle of a cold snap, you do not want to be agonizing over whether to patch it up or replace it. This rule accounts for efficiency losses and rising repair costs as the equipment ages. If the math says you're over $5,000, replacing is simply the smarter move long term.
And hey, this naturally leads us to ask the big question, the one every homeowner absolutely dreads when that $5,000 rule points toward replacement. What are we actually looking at out of pocket?
Well, a complete replacement generally ranges between $5,000 to $15,000. But there is some good news here. Keep in mind that in 2025, federal tax credits can offset this by up to $2,000 for high-efficiency models. Now, the final price tag depends heavily on your unit size, the efficiency rating, and whether your home needs those ductwork or electrical upgrades we talked about a minute ago. But that 2025 tax credit, specifically for systems that meet Energy Star criteria, is a massive help. Plus, some of these installations might even qualify for local utility rebates, which can stack right on top of those federal credits.
To protect that big investment, you absolutely have to follow this operational heuristic, the 3-minute rule. If you manually adjust your thermostat, wait 3 minutes before restarting to save your compressor. Whether you have a brand new system or an older one, this is vital. If you turn your AC off and then immediately flick it back on, you are actively stressing the compressor because the internal refrigerant pressures haven't had a chance to equalize. Modern systems usually have a built-in delay to save you from yourself, but if yours doesn't, ignoring this simple 3-minute rule will drastically shorten your equipment's lifespan.
Okay, Section 4, the local solution.
Peak HVAC Seattle's 24/7 response. When these systems inevitably fail under the stress of the marine climate, hyper-localized response teams like Peak HVAC Seattle step in. And their localized expertise is wild. Their trucks essentially act as mobile warehouses stocked with the exact parts that fail most frequently in South King County. They aren't just a generic service. They've built their entire operation around the Puget Sound microclimate. They offer 24/7 dispatch with arrival times usually between 60 to 90 minutes. And because they purposefully stock parts specific to the older units in neighborhoods like Sunnydale and White Center, they fix 80% of emergency calls on the very first visit. No waiting around for days while you freeze. Their techs carry mandatory EPA Section 608 certifications for handling refrigerants, and honestly, here is my favorite detail. If you live within 2 miles of the Puget Sound, they will literally install sacrificial anode systems. These attract the salt corrosion away from your expensive equipment. I mean, that is just next-level localized knowledge. Another absolutely crucial factor they bring to the table is proper sizing. Rather than just guessing based on your floor plan, they calculate for Burien's marine humidity to prevent your new AC from short-cycling and leaving your house feeling clammy. If a contractor just looks at your 2,000-square-foot house and slaps a standard unit in based on square footage alone, you're going to have a bad time. Peak HVAC uses proper manual J load calculations. See, in a marine climate, oversized air conditioners cool the air way too fast, so they shut off before they can actually remove the humidity. By sizing the equipment 15 to 20% smaller, the unit runs long enough to actually dehumidify your home, giving you true comfort instead of a cold, damp house.
If you ever do find yourself in a crisis, their straightforward 3-step emergency process ensures you get transparent options and rapid comfort restoration with zero sales pressure. Step 1, you call them, talk to a real dispatcher, get safety guidance if there's an issue like a gas leak, and a tech arrives in 60 to 90 minutes. Step 2, they diagnose it using calibrated equipment, not guesswork. They'll actually show you the problem, explain that $5,000 rule we talked about, and give you upfront pricing before any work even starts. And finally, step 3, they do the repair using those locally stocked parts, run a full cycle test to prove it works, and even clean up after themselves. It is an incredibly systematic process built entirely around your peace of mind.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to literally go take a look at your own thermostat right now. Is your home truly prepared for the invisible war waging outside your front door? We've seen how the salt air, unpredictable heat, and damp cold are silently stressing your equipment every single day. Are you armed with the right heuristics like the $5,000 rule? And do you have a localized expert on speed dial before the next major breakdown hits? The marine climate never takes a day off, guys. So, is it time you audited your home's defenses?